Today I'll be teaching you on how to create this art style on Adobe Illustrator. Let's go! Good day everyone, it's me Thor Reyes. I'm a digital artist. Some days ago I released this art series, The Presidential Candidates for the Philippine Election 2022. And this guy commented on one of my speed art video of Ping Lacson's portrait, and his name is Darwin La Portesa. His comment was, "Idol brush reveal." Then I replied, "Wow, thanks. You can search for the brush online and it's free." Then he asked me if I can make a video about my style or my process. And also for this lady who commented on my TikTok video last December asking also for a tutorial. And here we go at last, we're making it. But before we start, I would like to tell you that the first step of this tutorial is tracing. And if you think tracing is cheating and not real art, then you can go now. Shoo, go away. I don't care. So, let's go. These are the things you need to know before you proceed. The blend modes that I'm using are multiply for adding shadows, then screen, color dodge, and overlay for highlights, extreme highlights, and accent colors. These are the brushes I use for this tutorial. And these are the values or color palette. And these are the tools I use most of the time. And also I'm using a Huion Kamvas Pro 16. Let's begin. First, create a new document. For this demo, I use 1000 by 1400 pixels, but still you can use your own canvas size. Don't worry about the resolution because Adobe Illustrator is a vector-based program. Now, select your desired image or subject to Adobe Illustrator. In this demo, I chose ChooxTv, a famous streamer here in the Philippines. I want to create a fan art for this guy because he's so fun to watch. Now, double-click the layer, then select template. It will automatically dim your image. Then create new layer for your outline or line art. Take note, your outline will only serve as your guide. Alright, let's start tracing. I'm using this charcoal brush for the outline. Trace only the things you think that is important. You don't need to trace each detail for this image. Now that we are done tracing, select all the brush stroke, then group them. Then select your template layer and delete it. You don't need that anymore. Create a new layer for the color. You may change the name of the layer so you can identify it easily. Let's start adding the local colors or base colors. Just fill the outlines using dry brush and pencil tool. Try to adjust the weight of your outline stroke. Just be loose on doing this. Experiment, and most importantly, enjoy. After adding the color, make sure that you lock each group of objects so you will not accidentally move them. Now, it's time to add midtones. Pick the color of the skin, then choose the nearest but darker than the original color. Always compare to your reference. In this way, you can train your eyes for better understanding the light and shadow. Midtone is the biggest shadow. When you already identify where the midtones are placed, you can now easily add the darker shadow and the extreme shadow, as well as the highlights and extreme highlights. Learn where the light is coming from, and it will be easy for you to add rendering for your next artwork. After adding the midtones, always group your objects, and for this one, change the blend mode to multiply. Play around the opacity. There's no definite value for this, just trust your eyes. If you think it's already okay, then proceed adding the darker shadow. Then just repeat the same steps. Pick the color, select the nearest darker color, then start coloring. Group the objects and change the blend mode to multiply and play around the opacity. At this time, I decided to add a much darker shadow. Remember, creating an art is all about decision making. Also, along the way, there will be many adjustments while comparing your work to the original image. You will see me doing the same thing, adjusting many times because every now and then I used to take a break every 20 minutes. Taking a break will let you notice things you won't see for the first time. So always take a break, don't rush it, take some time, so it will turn out great. Then I proceed rendering the lips by doing the same process, comparing to the reference image. Group the objects and change the blend mode to multiply. Just like what I said earlier, I'm adjusting too much because I'm seeing things that should be corrected. Now, repeating the same process with the hair rendering, at this time I'm adding the highlights. Here, I'm just noodling to help me find the form, just adding clumps of hair. Again, play with the weight of the stroke and the stroke profile. I love this process because I love noodling. Also, play around with the blend mode, screen, color dodge, and overlay for the highlights. After adding highlights to the hair, I start working with the eyes by adding a stream shadow for the eyelashes, then for the nose, the lips, and the neck. Then I proceed adding highlights and shadows for the shirt. This time, let's transfer the outline group to our main layer, then delete the outline guide layer, then select the outline group and change the blend mode to overlay to make the portrait lineless because we are imitating painterly art. Now, I came back to the face and add the highlights and changing the blend mode to screen and playing around the level of opacity. Then adding shadows to the eyeballs. Again, change the blend mode to multiply. Going back to the hair, I'm adding extreme highlights. Remember, the blend mode is either screen, color dodge, or overlay. At this time, I'm adding the accent colors and extreme highlights. The blend mode for this one is color dodge. Now, I add some mustache but very subtle using hatches brushes. At this time, I add a rectangle here, then select the gradient tool, and I use freeform gradient. Then select my desired color for the background. Also, you can use recolor artwork for faster color adjustments. Then I add the light rays to add drama. Then I change the color using linear gradient and changing its blend mode to screen, plus adding Gaussian blur to soften its edges. Then this one, I'm just adding some decoration. These are text from the previous artwork, changing this to ChooxTv and Edgar in Baybayin Calligraphy. After that, I added the paper texture and changing its blend mode to color burn. Lastly, I added the watercolor texture here by selecting all the groups, then group them as one, then duplicate it. Select the duplicated group, then go to transparency panel and click make mask. Then start painting watercolor inside the masking. Now, get out of the opacity mask and change it to multiply and adjust the opacity level. The purpose of this is to make the portrait painterly and not so artificial. Alright, that's it. If you find this video helpful or entertaining, please give this a like. Also, leave a comment for your thoughts. If you want to know more about the process so I can clarify things that you don't understand, please let me know. And for more art content, please do follow or subscribe in any of my social media accounts. Thanks for watching and I will see you on the next video. God bless. Peace. Low sound check. Today I'll be teaching you on how to create this kind of art style in Adobe Illustrator. Let's go. Today I'm going to teach you on how to create this art style. Hirap ah. We're doing a tutorial. Alright, that's it. If you find this video helpful or entertaining, please give this a like. Give this a like. Please leave a comment for your thoughts. And for more art content, please do follow or subscribe.